Everyone to Thursday's advanced class. Today we're supposed to be looking at some of the Q&A on either very specific things, right? So don't worry if you're new. Our advanced class are beginner friendly, so we pick a topic and we start from zero to hero, right? And also since we have a new indicator, which is a strategy builder, we also have decided to incorporate a strategy builder by request from today and tomorrow. So guys, let me know what would you guys would like me to talk about today. Would you like me to start building maybe a strategy with you guys? That usually takes me like 2 days, right? So might be today and tomorrow, or you want me to talk about the settings that I use, the different strategy builders, or do you have something else in mind? Maybe that we're feeling a little bit bearish or bullish. How would I tackle stuff? I don't know, guys. Hey, today's open bar. Let me know. Oh, I see Trade Tuition. What is up, my friend? Let me bring you up in here. All right,
OC, my
so
man, I heard you making excuses why you were late today. That's all I heard.
it was. To be honest, I will not make any more excuses. Right now, I was just brewing my coffee, and of course, taking a Snapple tea, one of my favorites. Not sponsored, by the way, but yeah, just enjoying morning. As just a little bit late. I know. But Trade Tuition, how's it been, my friend? How's it been the New Year? 300 and no 364 days to become rich, right? Or 364 new chances to become rich. How is it going, my friend?
I'm loving it. We've been waiting for 2025 for a long time, and it's finally here. And hopefully, all the skills that we're learning, hopefully, all the indicators as far as giving us signals, chart prime. It's gonna be a great year. Absolutely great year. Very excited about it. Been looking forward to it for a while, and let's see what the year brings us.
Absolutely. So I see a little bit of a requesting here. I'm new to Chart Prime. How to use the indicators efficiently, please? Absolutely. Let's do a little bit of a twist there. And also, I'm glad that you're here, Trade Tuition, because I know you're not a big indicator guy, right? I mean, you like to keep things manual stuff and like that. And I think that will be a great contrast on what I do. But also a great parody, which is very funny, on how I get started using my indicators. Because first of all, before doing indicators, I do basic training or basic TA. And based on my basic TA, then I use the indicators on top of it. Trade Tuition, would you be up for a debate today?
Oh, I love debating. Let's go. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's do it. All right. So first of all, let me just clarify a couple of things. Daga DT also, it's fast. He is the pistolero, the gunner man of the West. He is very quick on the keyboard. Thank you so much for that, Daga DT. Chart Prep tutorials, you can start there. Full playlist, awesome additional content. That's my little corner to get started learning. I do advise you to watch the important classes and then move from there. Let's skip that because usually a settings class takes me 2 hours straight, and you can check that out on additional content important classes. Video number 1, video number 2, and video number 4. Video number 4. So other than that, let's get it going and let me know, guys, what asset are you looking at. I'm gonna bring it up, what time frame you're looking at, and I'll show you how to get started on using the indicators, and I'll throw it back to you, Trade Tuition, to debate on what are we looking at and how our point of view contrast each other. I think that would be awesome. VGO
Yeah, it
1
sounds
minute.
good to me.
Perfect. All right. Other than 1 minute, let's not make it difficult. Well, I mean, that's all right. But since K Barla, it's new on indicators, this will move very, very, very fast. And I don't think that we'll have a chance to actually have the debate stuff. But what about Johnny Silver, AVGO, 15 minutes? Will that sounds okay? Perfect. Let's get it going then. I'm gonna move you guys right here to my side, and then let me get started sharing from scratch. And I cannot find my. All right, let's do this. Let's just do the full screen. Perfect. At this point, let's see what I got here. We promised AVGO, so let's look at it. AVGO. By the way, guys, against Nasdaq. Oh, Broadcom. Oh, you know what, dude? I love Broadcom. I haven't bought it, and it was a cool surprise. Let me just mark it. All right, let's do the 15 minutes here. And the first thing that I want to get started with, it is no indicators, right? I know we sell indicators, but guys, remember, price action is king every single time, right? Then I always tell you guys, learn support and resistance theory, learn trend theory, and learn volume theory. Those three they're gonna take you far, far, far from where you are right now. So let's get started. Are we bullish or are we bearish? For me, I already have a basic configuration, so I'm gonna trust on my configuration. And I'm gonna be giving you the 3 points of perspective that I have in here. I am going almost back and forth through my dynamic reactor, right? I mean, I would love to say that we have broken and retest, but despite we have a little bit of a V shape, is not a confirmed breakthrough, right? Just so you know, since you're new, I'm looking for breakthrough retest. This will confirm bullish trend. And as long as we are above the dynamic reactor, we are bullish, all right? And as long as we are below the dynamic reactor, we are bearish. That will distinguish what are we looking for. And then we're going to be looking for support and resistance, trend channels, so on and so forth, to fine-tune our entries and exits. So far, I will say that we are losing the trend line. Remember what I told you at the beginning? Trend line theory, right? We're losing the trend line, which means we're losing the trend, right? Why? Because I know it sounds obvious, but I haven't heard any other channel telling you like how to measure a trend, like easy peasy, like lemon squeezy, right? By using the trend dedicated tool, which is a trend line, right? So when do we lose the trend? When we're losing the trend line. It's not about the breakout, it's about your retest. There we go, possible entry for a long, right? And then what else am I gonna be looking for? For volume. So for me, I have raw volume right here if you have the plus. If not, you can just throw in normal volume. Or you can start using you can use the Pro Oscillator, which I don't have, but we'll make it look like it so we can all follow along. So old shape, here we go, okay. And then let's just minimize this. All right, so what I'm gonna be looking for here, it is my zero line. Why is it my zero line? Well, I need something to tell me whether I do have enough volume or I don't have enough volume, right? It's just like looking at your speed indicator in your car, right? I mean, if you don't have numbers, you'll see the dial moving, but how do you know how fast are you going, right? So that's why you need a threshold or you need a convention number, right? To know whether you are speeding or you are not speeding, right? For me, that convention number, it's going to be, or that convention statement is going to be my zero line. So I'm just drawing a zero line there, double click, zeroing it, and then right click on it and locking it, all right? So when momentum, because this is what is measuring, your ribbon is measuring momentum. What's momentum? A convergence between volume and speed, all right? So as I have momentum above my zero line, I'm gonna be telling myself I do have momentum to keep pushing upwards. So I have a flip of the ribbon, beautiful at support, look at that, right? I'm still struggling because I'm below resistance right here, all right? Let me clear everything up here, but don't end. Yes, keep them, all right. And, oh, come on, sorry about this. Let me just redraw this. There we go. I think good enough. So what I could be expecting here, it is either ranging, right? Or a pattern like this one. So I'm going to be speculating because that is the actual name of what I'm doing here based on previous patterns, based on that I have broken the trend line, based that I have also teased with breaking the dynamic reactor, right? And based that I already have a reversal here, I'm gonna be speculating that the next move is gonna be a flip of the ribbon and breaking through. Flip of the ribbon and breaking through, it's gonna be my goal line as I also bounce off a support zone. Now is when your other indicators come into place, right? We already have used dynamic reactor to give us a kind of like a sense whether we're bullish or bearish. We are ranging, right? Then we're using volume or momentum to see where is that momentum, volume, and speed coming in, right? As you can see, flip of the ribbon, beautiful momentum spike, right? To start looking for reversals. And finally, I'm gonna start using my indicators to see where do I have support. So look at this beautiful green line. That is a support. I'm gonna be looking to maybe retest that support and of course have my threshold. So this is gonna be my possible re-entry as I have flip off the ribbon. So my long is going to be long position somewhere around here, moving my stop at the threshold line and give it a wiggle room, all right, for momentum over expansion. And then aiming at my first resistance for TP number 1, aiming at my secondary and top of the range. You see that how clear this range become when I start looking at money flow POC. So at the top of the range for my TP number 2. And then everything else, it's trailing until it reverses down and takes me out. Then I rinse and repeat. Do trend lines, look at volume, look at support resistance, and commit to a possible entry there. So that's what I got. I want to throw it back to you, Trade Tuition. I want to see how you tackle this problem and if we are paired or we are unpaired on what we're looking at.
All right, so let me see if I can stream. It says you can't stream to this channel.
All right,
Am I clicking the wrong thing?
let me fix that. Let's fix that. Um,
And then so I wouldn't be biased. Let me see. No, it still says can't stream.
are you serious? Oh,
I don't know. That's the first time I've ever seen that. Maybe because I have something. No, I'm thinking maybe I have my streaming channel thing.
Mm,
But I just put it in the chat. What I have. Maybe I'm clicking on the wrong thing. It's the
yeah,
monitor with the arrow.
yeah, let me go here. Let me also get out of from it. Can you maybe do Control R just to reboot Discord? Oops. And that's how I took him out of the channel. No, just kidding. Yeah, we rebooted his Discord. He should be up in here. But he should have the yeah, so he should have permissions already. So we'll see. Let me see if I can give him something else. Um but he has shared in the past, so that's what I'm. Oops, and we don't. Oh yeah, oh, we got him here. Invite to speak.
All right. No, it's weird. It says you cannot stream into this channel.
Are you kidding me? Really? Let me force that one. Let me just add you here and channel. Can connect video. Create events, manage events, and message. Attach files. I'm giving you like godlike permissions here to see if that. All right, you now should be able to.
Oh, there we go. There we go. Now we're
Nice.
ready to rock and roll.
Perfect.
All right, so let me go ahead and put this on. It's this one. Okay. All right. So just so that I would not be biased, I didn't hear basically anything that you said. I was doing other stuff, and so we'll see if they match up or if they don't. Well, I don't know. So just so it's not biased. So this is the coin, right? This is a stock AVGO.
Yeah, that's correct.
All right, cool. So first thing I do is I go to the higher time frames and I just look very, very bullish. It's been doing a nice run up. One thing I look at is the pivots. For me, that's extremely important. It's all price action. So this is what I'm looking at first. Not looking at anything down here, but I'm looking at the pivots and the swings, which is the same thing. And this was a really nice area that it just completely broke out of. Let's go to the daily time frame on the weekly. On the daily, same thing, really nice. You can pretty much see it. It's like a zone. It's like a box. So this is my box. And so if the price comes back down here, I'm expecting it to do a really nice bounce. I don't think it'll go below it. If it does, well then, we have our next. And all this is a support resistance. That's all that is. Support resistance. So we have our next little box down here. Now, depending on just the market in general, due to the presidency, due to the economy and everything else, it just depends if it's going to come down here. I seriously doubt it'll come down here. I mean, it's far away. What is the price range? Say, yeah, that's not happening. This, I mean, 20% for a stock, I think it's a lot. I don't do stocks, but I think that's a lot. Let's go 4-hour time frame. 4-hour time frame, you can see more of the ups and downs. The reason for the selection of this zone. Now, for me, I just keep it super, super easy. For me, I identify the pivots. So for me, it's all price action. Now, I do use indicators. Even though I say I don't like them, I do use indicators. One of my favorite ones is this one. So it has, get that one off. It has these. Is it this one? Yeah, it has this, and I just put this one on. But so I do like the oscillators, and I love this, and I love the ribbons, and I love the dynamic reactors, all that fun stuff. But just for ease of my eyes and just thought process, I tend to not have them on, and I only put them on when I really want them. But in reference to this, my main pivots is this one, and then this one. So the price can do anything it wants as long as it's within here. If it breaks below this, then it's telling me, uh-oh, more than likely now we're going to go to possibly, again, nobody knows, possibly this area, this fair value gap. And if it does break below this, well, then this is my area that I think it might come down to and then possibly bounce. So it might do something like this. If it comes in here, eat up some of this liquidity and then hopefully come out of it. So if I was looking for a trade, would I enter right now? No. Why? I'm at the top of my resistance. And if you kind of just look at this, you can see that, right around this level is the midway point, about 50%. If you want to get exact, you can use your magnet tool, go from here. And I use the candle bodies. You can use the wicks if you like. I use usually the candle bodies. But on this box, you can go to the settings, go to style, midline, and then there's our midline. So I was off. So this is our midline. And let me just try to undo that. Well, it's actually right where where it stopped, right there. So the reason I would not enter this trade right now is because it's above the midline. If it was below it, I would enter it for a long. Let's see here. So let me get rid of this. Now let's go to I'm thinking if I need to go to a lower time frame. I really don't, not on this one. Now, could you enter here? You could. I wouldn't though. You could. you would enter much faster than I would, because let's just say it does this number and comes up here, gets rejected off of this, then comes down, makes a higher low because of this, and then now comes up. Well, you're in it here versus where I would enter, which would be up here. Once it breaks this level, you would make more profit than me, but this is safer versus entering now because it could come down and again now start trading in this range. So that's my thought process.
Absolutely.
Questions, comments,
Just for
concerns, issues?
yeah,
If I go further into it,
could you go try to just dive deeper into the 15 minutes just for parity points?
oh yeah. So we'll do the 15-minute time frame. So looking at the 15-minute time frame, very nice range right here. Really nice range. This is more kind of towards the top. Let me see. So one thing I love doing is I love seeing where we have more touches. So I was originally going to go up here, but as I went further and further, I get more touches if I just go a little lower. So right now, looking at this, and if you're a pattern trader, let me get rid of this. That way we can see it a little bit more. If you're a pattern trader, what you'll see is, oh, we got a double top. And then, oh, it should come down. Oh, but it didn't. Oh, well, now we have a double bottom. Well, it should go up. Oh, but it stopped. Oh, but now we have a triple top. So it should come down. So if you're a pattern trader, you're going to be flip flopping until it works. For me, I just do support resistance. I don't do patterns anymore. For if you use patterns and you're successful, great, keep on doing it. But for me, I mean, I got wrecked. So this was our level that it needed to cross. Then it broke above it. Then this is our level that it needs to cross. Again, candle body closes. And then it broke above it. So now this is the level it needs to cross before I enter. And it's just because if I were to enter right now, personally, this is the area that I'm having to deal with. So in essence, from here to here, it's kind of like my danger zone. I mean, it could just go up from here, but because it got rejected once, twice, and then here two, and then here two, and then here two, it's showing that there's a lot of resistance. So if I do enter right now, I mean, if it was down here, heartbeat, I'd enter. If it was down here, I would enter in a heartbeat. Well, let me just draw that again. Let me just. So from the bottom of this wick to the bottom of this, because here's sitting liquidity. So if it was down in this zone, I would enter. But since it's right here, again, you could make more money than me because you'd enter it sooner. But for me personally, I would just have it here to where it's safer because excuse me, one second. All right. So again, if you could enter it now, due to this bounce and buying pressure of the wicks, and that it came in, it took some of this liquidity. Like this would be a nice opportunity to enter, but for me, since it's right in the middle and above it, it's just too risky for me. And it depends on your risk level too. I would love if it comes in here. Here, definite buy. Or I would wait for it to break this zone, and then I could add on the break, or I could enter on the break, maybe 50%. Then once it retraces, I love the retraces, breaks the previously created, or rather the newly created high, then I add the rest of it, and then I'm in. So that's my 15-minute stuff. And of course, I mean, you have other indicators down here. You can look at all this stuff if you want, volume, everything else. But for me, it's I like 98% of my stuff is price action.
Nice. So, uh, before you take your screen off or keep going, guys, I want you to notice what is his yellow box right down there, and also what is the middle of that yellow box, right? When you create a yellow box, please correct me if I'm wrong, or when you're creating any sort of box, you're looking at 3 points of contact: top, bottom, and middle. Is that correct?
Yes.
Perfect. So I just want you guys to notice where is his yellow box, right? and he's looking for the middle point there, right? Just so because we agreed on the 15 minutes on the chat, I'm gonna be just talking about that. But also, when he was analyzing the 4 hours, I also saw something that I am a pattern trader, and also I'm gonna be giving you my ideas in here. But also, I think we could convey in many of those things. This is where your style comes in. When you ask me, hey, AC, what is the best settings, right? Well, I don't know, what are your best settings? Because you can see for a trade intuition, his entry is just slightly above at confirmation, right? For my entry, it's when it's bouncing back down, right? At his yellow box. In fact, at the top of his yellow box, it is our entry right here on my previous analysis. So does that makes any of our analysis wrong? Not at all. Uh, we both are waiting for something to happen. As you can see, neither him, neither I jumped right away right now, despite the price action right now moving upwards. Why? Because we are just in the limbo. There's no support, there's no resistance, there's nothing to base your entry from, right? So also take a look at where's his area of his red box at the top. Remember that for mine was the money flow POC. Trade tuition, would you drop your screen so I can bring up mine and make a comparison?
Yeah.
A comparison. Thank you, my friend. So let me share mine really quick in here. And again, guys, remember what Trading Tuition's yellow box was. It was right down here, remember? At the bottom of that beautiful range. And remember what his resistance box was. His resistance box, it is where my automated money flow POC is. So what would I be entering if I cannot catch this bottom? Well, then exactly as he's mentioned, but with a little bit of a caveat here. Look at this resistance and this other trend line. Sorry, this other resistance line, right? We have two things. So I will be waiting for a push through, a bounce down, my entry, and then off we go. I believe Trade Intuition, the entry, it would be slightly above mine because of his resistance. But we both are looking for the breakout retest and off we go. Or the bottom part of that range for possible entries. So as you can see, our trades are not, or our entries are not one-to-one exactly, but they are very, very, very close to the same ballpark, right? And again, that is based on our threshold. And Trade Tuition, please, again, correct me if I'm wrong. You gonna be correcting when you're taking a trade? Are you gonna be correcting your possible entry as we move closer to your target to fine tune your entry, or you just set it and wait it?
No, if I have the ability, I'm always monitoring my trade because anything can happen. I mean, even if I put my entry at a certain spot, and if I happen to look at it, it may be different from what I thought it was going to do. So it could start doing like it may go up, but then it might start like doing like lower highs or just not looking strong. Like the candle bodies themselves can be reducing in size. So if I see that, then it's like, oh, it's not as strong as it was when I initially did this. So more than likely, I'm just going to wait, see what happens, and then I just wait. But there are times where I'll just set it and forget it. But usually, like 9 times out of 10, like I need this is why I don't like doing like bots or anything like that. I have to see it. I have to see what the candles are doing.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I will do the same thing. Remember that when I give you, for example, my instructions, I always say, wait for that to happen, right? Somewhere in whatever support or whatever resistance, right? With a flip of the ribbon or the break through the zero line. So do I know exactly where price action is going to bounce? Of course not, right? Nobody does. And I think this is a part of demystifying indicators in overall analysis, TA analysis, right? Technical analysis, which is, it's not that you know, nobody knows, right? But you have a probability, you have a higher chance of nailing it when you start looking for where are your supports, where or how price action has reacted to, right? And could react again in the future. And then when that happens, you take what I call the leap of faith. I talked about that leap of faith. It's not that, I mean, guys, just so you know, I'm religious. Sometimes I'm going to be doing kind of like that reference, but if you're not, just ignore them, go with the flow, right? But that leap of faith is not that I'm believing on it, is that I'm taking the calculated risk, right? And why is it the calculated risk? Look at my entry right now. It is on the support area, although I do see that we could be overextending, right? So I'm taking the calculated risk and give myself that overextension on my stop loss, right? In fact, my stop loss, now that I look at it again, I'll be extending it to here and then giving it that wiggle room. I think that will be a much better stop loss. So as you can see, I'm trying to not skip on the entry, because if it bounces above, like in this candle, right? And I put my entry like right here, right here, right here, you'll see that this would be a not an entry. So I'm trying to take that entry at the ballpark where I do see entries being taken, right? Where I see price action bouncing, and then taking profits as I got to resistances. So far, look at that. We're going to resistance. We need to wait. Look at that. Am I breaking through the zero line? Not just yet. Most likely, if we break through, look at what is my next plan, right? And then as I break through, most likely I'm going to have that retrace, that possible retrace, and flip of the ribbon back inside of the trade. So let me remove everything here. And once again, you can use the indicators in two ways. One, to make your analysis easier, right? But you still need to know how things work. For example, do I need to manually look for support and resistances? Well, my indicators tell me not really. Look at that. There is a good support. Here's a good resistance. Here is a good parity of both resistance, right? Here is another resistance, and here's another resistance. So I can start planning without or saving myself some time instead of using my brain to use the indicators. But this is important, guys. This is important. Not using your brain is going to cost you big, right? So what I do advise is to do as we did at the beginning. So we started with no indicators, assess first where we located, which was exactly the same thing that TradeTuition did, and then overcharge or supercharge your analysis with the indicators, right? So look at that. Here is information, for example, that I did not know about it, right? Now I know about that information. So how to use indicators part one, it is to save you time while doing analysis. Second, it is to get information that you did not know how to get before, or that you couldn't get without a complex scenario mathematical equation. For example, order blocks or fair value gaps or something like that that you may not used to just identifying easy, right? So we can go ahead and look at that. The next thing it is, and this I could not get it if I did not go to my order books. Where are the disparity, right, from the total volume? And if you read a little bit of literature, and this is what I'm telling you, studying TA, it's important and will supercharge your analysis and with indicators. Because, all right, I can see a huge spike in this side and another, not that big, but still big spike to my right. So I know that to my right, I have overall volume, total volume. And to my left, I have the difference on that volume. Basically, buys minus minus sells, or sells plus buys, if that makes sense, because minus plus, it's a subtraction because they're different they're different signs, all right? But, all right then, if I wouldn't know literature and trading, I would say, oh, well, maybe that's a support or maybe that's a resistance. But if I do study a little bit, you understand that there's two ways, there's two kind of monies that we talk around. Smart money and dump money, or smart money, institutional money, and dumb money, also called as retail money, right? And how could I know that? Well, then, when you see a huge disparity, people buying and selling. I'm not talking about price action. I'm talking about, and I don't know, why I cannot just put it out. I'm talking about this bar of disparity. Why? Because the more disparity, the less people are putting in the same direction. You are selling, I am buying, he is selling, this other guy is buying, and we're just freaking not coordinated, right? That is a characteristic of both retail or dump money. Why? Because they just don't get along together. They don't work together. They don't aim at the same point, right? And that is to be expected. So if I see a big disparity, what I'll be looking for, it's ranging. So am I ranging? Of course I am, right? So for example, let's do that exercise once again. And let's do now talk about low disparity, right? And what am I looking with low disparity? Low disparity in big areas of reaction. So I know with those two lines, right, or those two characteristics, I know here, let's see it. Here, I have enough money that changed the trend. But look at that, it wasn't that much volume overall. But most of that volume, almost 80% of that volume, was pointing at the same direction. Why? Because smart money, institutional money, they see how we fight over price action. And then when we are exhausted, when I have sold everything that I have to sell, and you bought everything that you have to bought, right? Oh, absolutely, my friend. Thank you so much, Training Intuition, for stopping by. I really, really appreciate it. Absolutely. Let's do this more often, my friend.
Definitely. And just real quick, did we agree or disagree? Like, because I didn't hear any of your first part of it. Were we?
We did agree. In fact, we did agree.
Okay, good.
Your entry was a little bit higher than mine, and mine was a little bit lower in both cases scenarios, either to the low part and to the breakout retest.
Very cool. And and I completely agree with what you said. In reference to, that doesn't mean someone's right and someone's wrong. It's just how they enter, how they look at it. The main goal is just to get to the end, make profit. So, I mean, I love it. All right, guys. Well, I got to go. I do thank you guys very much. And yes, we definitely got to do this again. That was a lot of fun. I liked it.
Absolutely. Love it, my friend. Have a great rest of your day, brother.
All right. Take care.
Take care. All right. So, having said that, guys, let's look at, all right, those guys have tons of money, but they don't have enough money as all of us collectively. That's why you see a huge amount of freaking volume not doing anything, right? And this is outrageous. Because, and I've said this before, if we all came together and aim somewhere, you know who's going to be paying for our lungs? Institutions. And we could be wrecking them. But that is what happened. That is what happened with, what was this guy? Kitty Cat, something like that. I don't remember his name. The guy that bought, what was GameStop, right? So he had enough influx to motivate masses. Roaring Kitty, exactly. So Roaring Kitty had enough momentum to entitle masses, right? And turn all of us aiming at the same direction and not doing this spike. It took all of us volume and did a tiny outcome because we basically pushed every freaking time at the same area. All right, so that was freaking cool. So what am I looking at this point? It is, where is institution acting here? Look at that. They tried also once again here. They actually did it nicely, right? Look at that. All right. What else? Here, did they did it? I would say that this one was a re-entry for institutions, right? But also look at this right here. This is the interesting part. Why? This is telling me a very special story. Right here, a ton of volume. Well, somewhat big volume, but low disparity is telling me that somebody, and I cannot tell you this for sure. Let me just be clear, but still telling me a story, right? That somebody either the holders, which is retail, right? The holders are buying to prevent this to drop further, or institution, it's within their best interest to not letting it fall. Why? Because you as retail, if you see that we lose this freaking range, where do you think we're going? Well, I do have a very, very for sure answer right there, right? So I think somebody's preventing the mass hysteria or the mass sellout because they know what we as a collective retail can do, right? So here are the two. Let's just recap on what we just learned. There is two main ways to use your indicators. First, to give you things in the easy way, like for example, support and resistances that you don't need to think it too much, right? But that comes into a risk, which is depending on indicators, letting your brain become lazy. And I always tell you guys, how old are you guys? Let me know. To be honest, no kidding. I don't know my age. I'm from the 88. That makes me 35, something like that. I don't know. Or 55. Nice, brother. 42, 54. Perfect. 60. Nice. 40. Perfect. All right. You guys got a 40 years trained machine. You guys have a 54-year trained AI machine, right? You guys have 69 AI trained machine up here. Buddy, you got the perfect machine up there, right? Was it trained like AI? Yeah, absolutely it was. In fact, we try to train AI as we train our brain, right? Man, we're all no. You are experienced. You are experienced. That is the key. So, a funny story, just so you know, my dad is in the ballpark of 69 years old, and he started training almost at the same time I did, right? So we start training at the same time. I always caught very good entries, but I always got either stopped out or I never took profits on time. In the relationship to him, he always was slightly late to the entry, but made a much better profit. How is that possible, right? Well, he got much more experience and he put his experience to work, right? When you're younger, you are less, you use less your brain. You have less experience to know how is it feel to get hurt? How does it feel to lose money? How does it feel, to be wrong and pay for those consequences? Funny story. That's why military look for younger people because they are more tenacious, to say the least. All right, just so you know. Again, I'm not against military. I do have a deep respect. I myself wanted to be a military pilot. My granddad was a military pilot. He died in a mission, but that's a story for another time. So, guys, you have a beautiful machine up there, right? And my advice is not. My advice is put it to work. That is beautiful. And then confirm it with your indicators, right? So again, it's not that you're biased. It's that you're going to be trying to look at it into whatever makes sense for you and then look at the indicators that are just plain numbers, right? They don't care if that looks pretty, if you have a ton of money stock in there, or if you're making profits on it. They're just freaking numbers. So you're gonna be using your beautiful brain and then debias it with the indicators, if that makes sense, right? And then the second purpose of the indicators, the second way to use it, it is to gather that information that we couldn't see with our own eyes, right? For example, can I see momentum out of the price action? Not really. But that's why I have my oscillator, right? That's what I'm waiting for. Oh, come on. That's what I'm waiting for. Break out of my threshold line, right? To get that momentum, retrace support, and off we go, right? Re-enter on the retracement, right? Then what else? Well, another story that wouldn't be able to look at it is the disparity, right? Or the deficit, however you want to call it, out of a big volume spike, which tells me, hey, we should be ranging, right? So if I'm ranging, easy peasy. Easier said than done, of course, but you buy low, you sell high, and keep both open for the hedge. All right. So you set your stop loss for the short, you set your stop loss for the long. Your longs makes money, take 50% out, open up your short. Your short makes money, 50% out. So now you have done 100% collectively, and your long still open, and your short still open right here. So goes back up, you make money. Well, you add to your long, you make money, take 50% out of your long, add to your short, make money on the way down, take 50% out, add to your long, right? Make money going up. What do? You rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat until you get stopped out. Because in a range, you are, if you're hedging, you are going to get stopped out. That's part of the plan. We already made 50, 50, 100, 50, 50, 200, 50, 50, 300. And then you get stopped out by what was that? Look at my stop loss. That was a 1.31% out of a 300% gains. Not a bad deal, is it? Not a bad deal. And then you just write it up, right? Or write it down, whatever. How does having a big deficit like that not make the price go up? Because they're fighting for the price action. So when you see that deficit like that, it means that many people are shorting and the other many people are longing. So, and you can see it in the price action. Like, I mean, the price action will not let me lie, right? So if people are longing and then other people are shorting and other people are longing, that's what's creating, that's what is converting this volume into disparity. Does that make sense? So now, how do I use that information for the future? Perfect. When I break out of this, whatever I think we're going to be breaking up. And why is that? Because we are slightly tilted upwards here, in my opinion. We're slightly tilted upward, right? I know that slightly tilted upward usually will be telling me to draw back down, but I see it pushing it. I see it pushing it. And last time we pushed it, we did broke, right? Last time we pushed it, oh, look at that. Yeah, we have a little bit of a dip, but we still broke up, right? So I think we're not going to be seeing this low so far just yet. I can change of opinion whenever I start losing. If I see losing this, that's what I'll change. Why? Because mass hysteria, mass reaction, right? But again, my indicator is telling me, look at this area. What happened in that area? 96% of people were buying, right? So as you can see, I'm adding information, pieces of information, right? Again, I would tell you, as I always tell you, a range is never to be trusted, right? It's never to be trusted. I can speculate, I can guess, I can look at my indicators, but a range is never to be trusted. All right. Nice breakdown and Qualcomm. Oh, thank you, my friend. Thank you. So let's see. Did I answer your question satisfactorily? Kibaral? I don't know how to pronounce your name, my friend. I'm so sorry. But did I answer your question? Also, guys, if you have anybody has a question, want me to go in depth in something else, or want me to take a look at any other thing, I'll be more than happy. We still have 5 more minutes before we wrap the class up. Johnny Silva, what's up, my man? D sir, what's up, brother? Reading you guys. Perfect, perfect. By the way, I'm also recording this session. This is going to go into the class recordings. I don't know if this should be an important class. I think I will put it as a I don't know. How can we call this so it'll be easy to find? Well, so reading you guys, reading you, just to see what we got. ASML. Let's take a look at ASML. It sounds very familiar. ASML. Holdings, New York. You know what? I don't have any here. It's semiconductors. Oh, lithography. Let's add it. What are you looking at? 4-hour daily, 15. Let me look at the 4-hour. Oh, it is. All right, guys. This is very interesting. Very, very interesting. Remember, we try to start here non-biased. All right. This is something awesome. All right. Thank you, One Way. This is pure gold. All right, guys. Do you see a bearish or bullish trend right there? Bearish. Yes. All right. All right. All right. Love it. Love it. Would you be longing or shorting there? Well, on that ballpark, not exactly on that price action. Short, extremely bearish. Prepare for the long lucky deal. You got it, my friend. You got it. Yes. Johnny Silver, short-ish. That could be it if you're looking at lower time frames. Yes. That could still be it, right? Because you're looking at lower time frames. In fact, any of those answers will be good. Why? Because we are still bouncing back down on a head and shoulders neckline. If we lose that box, we could be shorting it. Yes. Yes, absolutely. I agree with that. But here's the deal. Let me go to Bitcoin because I know, man, I know that chart is a palm of my hand, and I am less. Oh man, those dad jokes. I'm just practicing. Sorry, guys, that you had to put up with that. All right, so does this looks like what we're looking for right now? Look at that, bearish, 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 and what we got in here. You see that? All right, then how do you measure that? It's not a ticker. What time? Yeah, over time, exactly. But, and here's what we talked about at the very beginning. We see, I mean, if I ask you right here how what Bitcoin was, everybody was saying bearish, even me, because it is bearish, right? It is bearish. It is not bullish yet. But we also see a little bit of a floor in there, right? We also see a tight range, not as before, right? And it is prolonged enough to do what? To break the trend line. So exactly, also to build that momentum, exactly. So quick question on Bitcoin, and we're gonna do the same thing on the superconductive. When was Bitcoin bearish trend finished? In what ballpark? So you can look at the right scale and let me know. Exactly 22K. But But would anybody will be telling you at that point? Do you remember that? Was anybody talking about buying Bitcoin? Well, we did in this class. We did. But anybody else outside Twitter, YouTube, like what was the feeling overall there, right? BTC is going to zero. Exactly. And I got that.
You heard it here first. Bitcoin is going to zero.
Exactly. It was fear, right? But now you know what to look for, right? So as you can see, trading can be very easy. So let's do the same thing here. Can we draw a trend line? I think we can. It's not as fantastic as I would like. In fact, I can draw two trend lines, either this trend line or even maybe try to do something like that and call this fake outs, right? But still, something is happening here. Whatever trend line I've drawn, this is meaningful. Would you guys agree on that area is meaningful, regardless? Making a channel also helps on lower with support and like, yeah, absolutely. So let me clear this up so we can see it once again. Look at that. If my trend line is like this, I still need to consider that this thing is making fake outs, right? Or whatever. Or if my trend line, it is, come on, unlock this. If my trend line is like that, I also am barely breaking. I'm barely breaking. So what would my point of entry be? And I got it clear. And this is going to be one of those things that the stars align. And that's what is called confluence, right? Because I also have a possible, not yet, head and shoulders with beautiful neckline. And where is the breakout of that neckline? Right at the trend line that I've been looking at, right? So you see, I mean, things start getting easy. Things start getting easier. And guys, how many indicators have we been using so far? Right here on this analysis, how many indicators do I have on screen? Turned on. How many indicators do I have turned on screen? 1, 2. What are the second one? What is the second one? I do see 1. I do agree with that one, little fish. 1, 0. Lucky Deal says. Oh, so I would say it, but I haven't not used it, but I've been glancing at it. So you guys caught me there. Oscillator, exactly. Yes, my oscillator is there. I haven't talked about it, but I've been glancing at it, right? Johnny Silver, DB Cooper, what other one are you guys looking at? Because I could be wrong, right? Or maybe I'm not seeing something. It's important for me, your opinion. What's the second indicator that you guys see? Mistook the symbol writing. Oh, got it. Perfect. All right, so 1, right? We agree. Most of us agree with 1 so far, right? All right, let's talk about the oscillator. Usually I enter on, for the new members, FOR. What does FOR stands for? You guys know it. You guys, I'm seeing you typing. I love it. Flip of the ribbon. Yes, exactly. Yeah. So flip of the ribbon. Exactly. So flip of the ribbon, but something important, guys, for the new members. It's not just a flip of the ribbon. It's flip of the ribbon at where? What needs to be happening? What, like on the price action, at some support. You got it. Right? Flip of the ribbon at support for longs, right? Or flip of the ribbon at some resistance for shorts, right? Exactly. You guys got it. Yes. This is still a dangerous trade. Flip of the ribbon at support. Why? Because we're just using just 2 indicators. We need more. At least I would say 3, right? But still, I would say that we have the basics of what I'm looking for, right? But what's the resistance at 75? I don't know. Let's try that. Let's see that. Great question. Let's put it to break. Did we had, guys, I mean, man, was it? And I just turned it on. You have seen that I did not turn that on before. I mean, that's how much I trust my indicators, right? Yeah. I mean, that's how much I trust my indicators. Why do I trust that much my indicators? Because I have configured them. All right? Because I have taken the time exactly to work with what I'm looking for. Sausage finger. Okay, let me see. Guys, 1 second. I'm just getting a message here. All right, let's continue. All right, so we do have resistance, right? And of course, resistance, it's a zone, right? It's not a line. I know we draw it as lines. Exactly. Oh, very nice. Very nice video. It's a little bit outdated, but still freaking awesome. And it still applies. So yes. All right. So we did have a resistance, right? We did have a resistance. All right. Well, I mean, guys, it's not just supported resistance, right? We also can see volume. Look at that. Little volume, big reactions. We had a big reaction, right? So the same area I'm looking for the opposite, right? So let's see what else do we had in there. Maybe predictive ranges. Let's see our predictive range. Oh, look at that huge loud order block, right? I mean, what else? I don't know. Previous monthly high, right? That came, I don't know where from. Very back. Here we go. Previous monthly high, right? So can we agree that we had a resistance somewhere around that ballpark? Right? And as you can see, I'm leveraging the indicator, so I don't need to know exactly where was that monthly high or that monthly low, right? So instead of just me manually having to consider everything, I just configure it, set it, and forget it, right? But I still do my main analysis. So as you can see, guys, by using a main analysis, a basic analysis, you can start predicting your movements, all right? So what would then now be? So how can I maybe trade this from now on? First of all, it's not that whenever you see your indicators, you know exactly where's it gonna be moving up or down. That's not how it works. Sometimes it does it, but that's because when you open it, you are at support with flip of the ribbon, in, I don't know, an order block, and ton of momentum, so on and so forth, right? But in most of the cases, you're gonna be on a limbo. What is that limbo? Our entry, it's already gone. I mean, we need to also acknowledge that. Where was our entry? Right, this candle or next candle, whatever. That was our entry, right? So why? Because we have the flip of the ribbon right here, and then we have a support, and then also we have a reversal, and so on and so forth, right? So it played out just a little bit after, but it played out better, and then off we go. So we wait for that confirmation, entry, and we jumped into a trade. So that was our entry. So what else from now? Let me clear this up, all right? What else from now? Well, from now, I'm going to be looking at my zero line and waiting for maybe increase of, because this is not cool. Look at money flow. It's just flat. It's very, very flat. I don't like that. All right, but whatever. Increase of money flow and pierce through the zero line. That will be my next entry. Why? Because at this point, look at this high, look at this high, look at this high, look at these lows. This makes for a little bit of a range. So it's not about the breakout, it's about your retest, and off we go, right? So what else could I be looking for at this point? We'll be shorting it here as long as I bounce off of it. But if I pierce through, I want to also pierce through, going back down, support, entry, for long, and off I go. So it might be seem like I'm wasting all of this price action, right? But I also, let me be clear here, let me be honest, I trade with my own money. All right, I do trade with my own money. Nobody gives me that money. It's part of my profits. It's part of my living style, right? So if I do take a hit, I take it on my pocket. So let me ask you a question. Would you rather take the risk with your money, Or would you rather just to let it go and maybe enter a confirmation when you have lower of a risk? Yes, might signify less of a profit, right? But also signify less of a risk. So for my style, it is just waited. I mean, I waited. I know what am I looking for, right? And then because also we're looking the 4 hour and we're looking the macro chart and we had a beautiful trend line right there. Well, then I don't kind of like a care. Like, let's go even for the worst case scenario. That is the worst case scenario because we're barely breaking with no momentum, with no volume, with little money flow, right? Let's just lock this one. Let me clear this up. Remove 19. All right. So what would that be? Remember that we're looking for a possible rejection. So we could be rejecting and coming back in on the base, which I wouldn't care. So maybe if I take the leap of faith and I was wrong, entry 1, and because I'm seeing it, I can take 2 routes. Stop loss and try it again right down here, or do half of an entry, and then the other half of that entry, right? And then adjust maybe my leverage. So that way, I will be averaging down my first entry with my secondary entry at a center point, which is going to be giving me a long position right here, right? And then I do set my stop loss, but your stop loss will need to go all the way down here, which means that you might be using a 3x, 5x, or something on that ballpark to consider this possible drawdown, because remember, you're entering for a half position all the way up there, all right? And then if we get down here, that's where you enter right here, and this lower entry is going to average down your entry right there. All right. And then what happens? Well, then I just wait to be on profits, move my stop to entry. I have nothing to lose. Let it ride, maybe like that, and off we go. All right, we have gone over a little bit over time, but I think this was a very nice breakdown on how to start using the indicators efficiently. Remember, it's not about just throwing everything to the charts. By the way, if you throw everything and that makes sense for you, please do it. Remember what we talked about, right? It's about what works for you. It's not about what works for me. It is what I can show you that makes sense for you and help you become more profitable, right? So again, if I can give you a friendly advice, is not go chasing after YouTube gurus, right? And if you do, because we all have done, look at it with learning eyes. Exactly. Yes. The diet. That's me later on. And man, that's what they call me the spaghetti, Mexican spaghetti, because I like to. I don't know, guys. It overcomplicates on my chart, and I don't know why. But yeah, I mean, if you go follow anybody on YouTube, just learn what is working for them and what makes sense for you, and apply it to your strategy. All right. But again, if you're just going to be replicating something that you don't understand, it doesn't fit how your brain was created or was trained, you are going to be setting up for failure, right? Or at the very best, you're going to be throwing away all of the knowledge that you have, your what is called at this point, it's called, oh, come on, it's not intuition, it is common sense. All right, you're going to be throwing all of your common sense down to the drain and not helping it, but kind of like it's starting all over from zero, right? I'm learning, so no knowledge to throw away yet. Perfect. So start gathering things and whatever. And my friend, whatever I say that doesn't make sense to you, put it in the back drawer, right? Put it in the back drawer. If never comes in handy, don't worry, right? Exactly, man. That's us. And also remember that we all are learning as we go. Why? Because markets are evolving as we are. Last Bitcoin cycle is not the same people that are right now. Newbies got wrecked and left. New newbies are coming in, and they might leave, but other might stay, right? So remember, new people, new experience, but overall in big numbers, almost the same structure. Other than that, guys, it's time for me to go away. I do have other tasks to attend to. Also, Alex Fernandez has given me a little bit of a task to accomplish. So, guys, thank you so much for joining. And as always, see you guys tomorrow.